Hi, friends. I'm Dana Lewison, therapist and founder of the Empowerment Collective.
And I'm Dr. Roshi Patel. I'm a board certified OBGYN and the founder of Luminate Gynecology.
Today, we're talking about something that shows up weekly on my group texts, and that is skincare in our 40s.
Yep, big topic comes up in the group chats and when I talk to patients.
So, we brought in the expert. We brought in someone who lives this every day, Jennifer Adele Evstathiou. She has been a licensed esthetician for over 20 years, and her focus right now is what she calls the hormone shift, the skin changes that come with perimenopause and menopause.
We are so excited to literally have a hands on approach to this topic. Jennifer, welcome to No Sick Days.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
We're so excited that you're here. Can you tell us about your journey to becoming an esthetician and how your career has morphed over time?
Sure. I have been doing this for, like you said, over 20 years. I was one of those people that in high school sort of knew I wanted a different route. I went straight to cosmetology and makeup school right after high school. I wanted to be a makeup artist and prosthetic for film. And I started to go down that route. I learned hair color, a little bit of skincare. And once I became a makeup artist, I had so many questions for people in my chair asking about skincare. And it just sort of piqued my curiosity. I thought I should probably know more. So I went back to school for that in New York City and completely fell in love and almost instantly career shift. Like I gave up
Mm.
makeup altogether and dove headfirst into skincare. And that sort of evolved over time. As the two of you know, like the skincare industry is constantly changing and evolving. And so, I was in the medical space, more the holistic space. I went to energy medicine school for 4 years. So I tied in so many different elements and one thing just led to another. And I feel like they've become this beautiful morphed integration. And now, of course, add content creation into that. But it's been a journey.
Yeah, that
Wow.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's taken me all over. I worked for years in New York City. I worked in Hawaii. It's just given me a lot of insight into different cultures, into different methods, right? There's so many different facets of skincare and this industry as a whole, right? The wellness community. It's been
Mhm.
fascinating.
That's amazing. I also want to hear all about your experience in Hawaii at some point. But for listeners who have never been to an esthetician, can you tell us what do you do? What does an esthetician do related to skincare and more?
So, an esthetician, that's your skin expert that's working on the epidermal layer, the top layer of your skin, and the dermal layer, depending on licensing in your state. But think about your barrier, your texture, your tone, hydration, maturing skin, laxity concerns, acne, right? We're addressing all of that. So a lot of people ask, the difference, when do you see an esthetician versus a dermatologist, right? I like to think about us working in partnership. I think that's the best way to utilize like skincare professionals. Your
Sure.
derms are looking at lesions, diagnosis, rosacea, prescription actives, right? Deeper dives into laser and resurfacing. So to use the two together is probably your best, most well-rounded approach.
I really like that. I think that's helpful because, like you said, the industry is always changing and sometimes it can get a little bit confusing and it's noisy. And especially as we kind of get, I don't want to say older, but wiser, especially for women, whereas we're navigating perimenopause in our 40s. What are some of the things that maybe you're seeing in the treatment room kind of made you realize we need to be talking about like how hormones impact our skincare and
Well,
how hormones, yeah,
yeah,
more broadly.
it's interesting being an esthetician. I think one of the reasons why I love it so much is I feel like my gift is really like in connection, and the treatment room is just a natural space where people feel safe, sort of like a therapist room, Dana, right? Like they're on
Yeah.
my table. It's just the two of us. We have an hour
Mhm.
together. A lot comes out, and I feel as though there's a lot of room for safe vulnerability in an esthetician's
Right.
room once you establish a relationship. And I think so much that comes out this during this stage of life is not just where we are hormonally, but the burnout, middle age,
Mhm.
sandwich years, parenting, we're last on the list, right? All of that. And then you weave in the loss of estrogen, which equals loss of collagen. You feel like you look in the mirror and you don't really recognize yourself the same way, but you don't have as much time to put into yourself.
Mhm.
So there's all of that. And then less ceramide production. It affects your skin, but it also affects your joints, slower cell turnover, compromised barrier. You know, dealing with acne in your 40s when you never did before. All of those kinds of
Right.
like, what is happening, right?
Mhm.
I feel like big shifts in life and then trickle down into your skin.
Yeah, I would say that anyone coming to see you the same way they would come to see either of us, you're coming to talk about things that are vulnerable,
Yeah.
right? Things that you are either not happy with and you want to fix, or things you're noticing, things you want to improve on yourself, even if you are happy, right? Things you want to
Right.
improve and make better. Would you say your own experience with hormones, perimenopause, menopause has impacted your practice?
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's been, my journey started, I would say on the younger side. I was 42 when I entered into perimenopause, like some symptoms, but then by 44, I was in full blown menopause. And I feel like that was just at the time when people were sort of starting to talk about it, right? That was 4.5 years ago. I'll be 49 in June. And I felt completely alone. I had no idea what was happening to me. It's a much bigger conversation now, thank God,
Yeah.
but it helped me really relate to not just clients my age that were starting to see, symptoms like this, but clients that were in their 50s that I was having similar experiences to them being in my 40s. So it really just helped me relate a lot more. To what's going on the inside, and obviously we can all relate to what's going on the outside, but yes, it gave me a much greater understanding. And because I started to take a deeper dive into the education and figuring things out, I just felt like I was a greater resource to my clients and to my audience on social media.
I mean, your social media account, first of all, and we're going to plug that also,
Yeah.
but your social media account is outstanding and fabulous. And
Thank
you
you.
are vulnerable, you are honest, you are raw, you talk about real life changes that go on for you. And I think you were one of the first people I saw that did talk about your menopause journey. And it was so real, but it was also so helpful because
Mhm.
as I was maybe on the cusp of just starting to see some of the same symptoms or such. It was like, oh, she's using this product. Maybe that's something I need to start thinking about. And it was very real and really helpful. And so I'm sure you've helped so many people that perhaps you're not even aware of. But I really want people to tune into your social media account because it's fabulous.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. I try and be
You're welcome.
just myself. It's a weird space out there, so we need people that we could relate to.
Yeah, I think that's so huge. You touched on the vulnerability piece, but also us being vulnerable, right? We are all in, I guess, environments where that human touch point is so important to, connect, relate, and then share a little bit of wisdom along the way, right? One of the things I'm sure, we have so much to talk about. I'm like, I want to ask all my questions now.
Same.
I know. But one of the things, and this, I'm sure this covers lots of different areas, but not just hormones, sleep, nutrition, lifestyle. I talk about this with my patients. It touches on, mood and how we manage things in data space. But I'm sure, Jennifer, for you, this comes up too. How do you, help patients or clients understand what they're putting in their body also affects their outward appearance? What are some practical things?
Yeah, that I'm so glad you bring that up because a lot of times in the treatment room, especially, it happens in virtual consults too, but my clients want to dive right into skincare products, treatment,
Right.
and it's never really where I start. I really do prefer to ask the questions about how are you feeling? What's happening in your life? How's your sleep? Right? If your sleep is tanking,
Hmm.
we're not starting with any change in skincare. Like we have to start with no serum outperforms sleep, right?
Right.
And stress, blood sugar stability, like all of those things. If we don't have a handle on that, your products are going to do very little for you. It has to be in partnership with, right? It's because all of what's going on the inside is just reflecting the outside. So it's the biggest part of the conversation. And it's different for everybody, right? There's nobody that's
Sure.
exactly the same. Everybody's experience through perimenopause is different. Everyone's menopause journey, everybody's stress, tolerance is different. So it really is just such an individual way to look at what's going on and what's going on with your skin, right? So the products are important, yes, and treatments, but you really do have to look at the full picture. And I
Right.
think more and more people are starting to see and realize that, but I think there's still some like catching up to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Full body approach,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Everything's connected.
it is
Because the
everything.
noise is yeah. The noise is loud, right? And I think we could all agree, like, it's a lot easier to think, "Oh, if I buy this product or I do this thing or treatment or
Mhm.
I buy this device, it's going to solve for
Right,
the doom scrolling I'm doing at 2 AM." But
right, right. All good, yeah.
we all do some of it. It's a part of life. But kinda on that note, we talked about this a little bit. We're like, Dana and I, we're so excited to talk about this part. The noise, the skincare industry, and there's like a lot of, I guess, overlap with the menopause industry in terms of the selling of the peptides and the exosomes and the treatments, and you need a red light thing and you need a that. Like, what do we need?
Right.
I know.
How can we
Let's
save
start.
some money?
Yeah. Right. Well, let's first of all, what is right? What do we actually need?
Yeah.
What do we not need? Right?
Yeah.
Which are the total things that are scams? And of all the products that are lined up basically on my counter,
Mhm.
which of those things do I really need to be using? Right? Because that's what Roshi and I, that's what we're here for. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest, everybody. We just want the inside scoop.
Yeah.
What should we be doing for our
You
skin?
know, this is and sometimes I feel like this is a cop out way to answer questions like this, but it really is true. It is so personal, right? Because what I might say to, let's say, one of you, but without knowing your habits and your
Yeah.
right, because like I could talk about devices and how amazing they work, but if I'm trying to sell a device to somebody who will buy a device and then let it sit for 3 years and use it twice in that time,
Right.
it's
Right.
not, but then again, you have somebody like myself who will use my LED light every single night because it lives on my nightstand, right? So it really is understanding who the client, right, or person
Right.
is that I'm talking
Mhm.
to. But I feel like as a whole, in this phase of life, the things that can approach what most of us are dealing with, right? So LED, amazing for red LED, is stimulating that collagen and elastin. Who doesn't need that? We stop producing collagen in our late 20s. As we lose estrogen, all of that is just a decline. So anything that's going to stimulate collagen and elastin, help with the skin's own ability to heal itself is amazing. And to add LED, there's no negative side effects. You're not having to replace any pieces. You plug it in, it powers off on its own in under 10 minutes, and you are golden, right? It's a upfront investment, but it is, in my opinion, worth it. And if you're somebody with struggles with acne, the blue light kills off acne causing bacteria. So LED is a
Hmm.
win in my opinion. I'm a big fan of microcurrent and radio frequency devices. I don't think you need both. I think most people are tend to either struggle with more loss of elasticity, like in the jowl area,
Mhm.
or want like that instant lift, right? Their cheekbones lifted, an eye lift, which is great for microcurrent. If you're trying to stimulate heat, right? Loss of elasticity, radio frequency. So either one, not both. Those are
Okay.
my favorite devices, I would say, that really do work and they've been around for a really long time. If you're an esthetician and you've taken a deep dive on this. I think there are a few that are really good. I like plated. It's an interesting science. It's still very early, and so sometimes the price point I have a hard time justifying that, unless it's like a really savvy clientele. Do you know what I mean? Who
Right.
who knows
Yep.
where to place it? I
What
feel
is
like
an exosome? I
um,
feel like I feel like the uncool girl at the party
No, no,
right
no.
now.
This is good. We should talk about it.
right.
What is an
Well,
exosome?
exosomes
I got the red light thing at
Yeah.
home, but what is this?
So think about your cellular strength, anything that's going to help cellular strength, right? And there's so many different things. Like you hear a lot about exosomes now. So our cells need to repair, regenerate, they multiply. So anything that's working and building on that, that's a good thing. But you have to take into consideration what sort of science it takes to formulate those. So it's still a little early. Whereas like peptides is another word that I feel like some people are aware, some people are not. Those, fatty acid chains that are the building blocks of collagen, right? That's in almost every product. You can find it in cleansers, but peptides you want in the proper sort of product that's right for your particular skin type, right? You don't want to just be throwing any peptide on your skin, any exosome on your skin, but you want to find these ingredients, these formulas that are really working at the deeper level. Exosomes for cellular strength, peptides for right that collagen. I could say anything like that fragrance forward that's marketed as like these luxurious anti-aging creams, that's where I would try
Right.
and steer clear.
Mhm.
$400 moisturizer packaged as luxurious and fragrance is the first four ingredients, like stay away.
Flag.
Interesting. Good to know.
You know what I mean? Retinols, right? I believe that there's a retinol, retinaldehyde, retinal. There's all these different
Mhm.
terms. All ends up doing the same thing. It's just how it converts. Some take longer to get there than others. But I think there's one for everyone. Some people will say retinols won't work for me. It's too irritating. You just haven't found the right one. Right. So that's another reason to have a great professional that you trust that you could reach out to or see to
No.
find out like what's the right one for you because there is something for everybody as we're talking about this, right? There's
Yeah.
5 gazillion products on the market. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
finding what's going to work for you. I do sometimes throw around the terms like hero products
Mhm.
for me and hero products for this specific type of gal, this specific type of skin. But you really do have to find your secret sauce. It's not
Yeah.
one size fits all.
So what you're saying is we really need to make a field trip to Connecticut so
Yes,
we can all come
yes,
see you and
yes.
tell us what to do.
Yeah, it is like and there are like many skincare quizzes out there. Like I said, I offer virtual consults, your derm, just anyone that you can just really kind of give them all the info about you to get the answers that you're looking for, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's tricky to figure out, like we were saying before, where are your hormones? What's your diet like? What are
Yeah.
the genetic
Right.
factors? Where do you live? What's your environment like? Like there's so much to consider.
Yeah. Is there a basic, what's the
Routine,
word I'm
regimen.
looking for? Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
I
Yes,
was gonna say
routine.
sunscreen. If you're not doing
Yeah.
sunscreen,
Yes.
Yeah.
no LED light in the world is gonna right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yes.
yeah.
I would say as if I'm gonna even say like 35 and up. You want good cleansing habits, right? At nighttime especially. Good cleansing habits, something that's going to increase cell turnover. If you're really opposed to retinol, then something like a bakuchiol, something that's going to naturally help the cells turn over, right? That's essential. Sunscreen, no brainer, a must. And I say some sort of antioxidant. There's several out there. Vitamin C is what's most commonly known. But antioxidant, right? That's preventing all the damage that's coming our way from there's free radical damage everywhere and pollution, just the air we're taking in. You want
Yeah.
something that's protecting you against that and also working on brightening and fine lines. So those 3 would be my top, like kind of must have basic in your regimen.
It's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you're right. I agree with you 1,000% in terms of like a lot of this needs to be individualized. And if your life kind of isn't dialed in, which it might take time, the rest of this is gonna, maybe not as produce these wild results that we
Right.
always see on we get so many I get like so many ads on Instagram, Facebook, in the car like all the time. Just and I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend $300 on something I don't know that's right for me.
Right. Yeah, and
And I think a lot of us feel the
and
same
that
way.
approach, right? Instead of adding, like edit.
Mhm.
Edit your
Mhm.
what's going on, right? Even I
Yep.
tell my clients like a pros and cons list.
Yep.
Write out your lifestyle, your stress, eating habits,
Mm,
skincare, and then hormones. And then let's come back and talk. Let's go through the list and then we'll come up with something. But that's the best way to approach skincare, wellness, I think, especially in our age range.
that's so smart.
Yeah.
Are there things that you feel like women are coming to you for that they aren't bringing up with, let's say, their gynecologist or their doctor that you think maybe they should be?
Uh, yeah, I wonder sometimes how much they're sharing about libido, crepiness in areas that they are not happy with, even if that's like something as simple as like their inner arms or their décolleté that makes them feel terrible about themselves, but they are embarrassed to bring it up, right? But they're feeling sexy in their own skin,
Hmm.
wanting sex drive back, but embarrassed to bring it up. All of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff that they do in the comfort of. I think there is something to also being in the treatment room w- when you're. I don't know if you guys get facials, but when you have a facial, you're also not looking at me. So
Hmm.
Right.
you're laying on the bed with your eyes closed,
Eyes closed. Yep.
And it's
and
nice and
you
relaxing.
yeah, and you don't have to make eye contact, and which I think is interesting, because people so often share so much, and
Right.
afterwards they're like, "My God, I like can't believe I just told you all that." But it's an hour alone away from their life with their eyes closed, laying on a bed, and they are relaxed, and it's a safe space. So a lot does come up, a lot. And a lot comes up too about the rage. I wonder too if
Hmm.
sometimes people are talking to their doctors about that, those things that maybe are
Mm,
little can have shame attached to it, right?
Yep.
I
yeah.
think rage is one of them that women aren't as comfortable talking about openly, and that comes up often, and that affects their cortisol levels and right those spikes. So I would love that to be more of a open dialogue.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And even doctors to,
Yeah,
obviously we talk about it, but
Hmm.
other
Not. Yeah.
professionals to be
yeah,
bringing it up with their patients. Talking about the libido, rage, recognizing those are related to this midlife
right,
change, if you will, and not just like you're cranky all the time or
right,
whatever it is,
yeah, right.
more than that.
That's a lot.
From the hormone side of things, do you see a difference in your clients that come to you who are on hormone therapy and those who are not?
Yes.
Mm.
What I notice is very similar to what I experienced. The clients that are coming to me that are not on hormone therapy, but are experiencing symptoms of perimenopause are trying very hard to pull in all of the things that they can, right? Really increase their like toolkit. They're trying to exercise. They're seeing a therapist. They're considering an SSRI. They're changing their diet. They're throwing all the skincare things. They're trying to meditate. Like they're looking at their supplements. And then the clients who are on hormones are a little bit more like, okay, I'm
Mm.
doing that, but I'm like, I'm coming from a okay place. It's like just a more level
Like an even keel kind of.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not so much like intensity. Is
Yes.
that? I don't know if that's the right
And
word.
not so much desperation. You know what I mean?
What's that word? Dana's gonna come. Like angst. I don't know. Is
Yes.
that the right word?
Yes,
Mm,
that is the right word.
Yeah. There's like a little bit of relief, right? Sometimes for the folks who are on hormones who need it or could clearly benefit. There's like it's like finding the thing that works. It's
Yeah,
just like
just
I
validating.
validating. Yes,
yeah.
that's a good one too.
And I think
Yeah.
for me anyway, and what a lot of my clients and audiences shared is one of the first things that they notice being on hormones is that their sleep improves almost instantly. And I find that once the sleep is under control, everything else is a
Yep.
little bit
My
falls
God.
back into
Yeah.
place,
Yes.
I think
right?
also like you then have the bandwidth to like, function. I tell patients all the time if you're not sleeping well, like your brain is not operating properly. How can you think through these complex things? How can
Yeah,
you organize your life? How can you make time for you on top of
right.
everything else that we have
Yeah.
going on?
Your sleep, that is when your skin repairs. That's when our
Mm,
bodies repair and regenerate. If you're
Yep.
not getting that, there's like you're starting at a deficit, you know?
right. Doesn't matter what mask you put on your face.
Yeah.
No, right. It might help like a little bit, but you're not gonna have that
Right.
glow.
No, especially like okay, and water.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, almost not comical. Patients will like, oh, I drink a lot of water. I'm like, but let's measure. Not even from like a judgment place, like, oh no, you don't. You should drink more. But like, let's just take a beat, collect some data. How much are you sleeping? How often do you remember to put sunscreen on? And like, how much water did you really drink in the past 3 days? And just let's make a little tweak. Like, start where you are. Let's be reasonable.
And it's so funny how so many people, myself included, um, they want the more complex, more expensive answer because it seems like that'll do it.
Yep.
Whereas sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I haven't drank a full glass of water today. No wonder I'm dehydrated and I look like, you know,
Yep.
Right.
heavy. Start with the easy.
But easy, and
Right.
it's like low-hanging fruit, that's what my
Yeah.
husband called it, that's his word. But it's not as glamorous, right? And, like, the ads are not, "Drink more water, it comes for free at your
Right.
house." Right.
Right.
The ads are buy plated or
Yes.
buy. I'm just, like, plugging brands that I
Yes.
get, now my phone's gonna blow up with all these ads because I said it out loud and put it in the universe.
Well, I'm gonna get the exostomes or
Yeah, so
whatever they are. Now that's what my phone's gonna show me.
and I'll just take a step back as an aside, but like what you said about the individualized approach, when you're working with a skincare professional like you and others out there, I think is even more valuable than when you go into a store or a department store or a place like Sephora or Ulta where you're like, yes, the people that work there are trying to be helpful and trying to connect you with the right product, but like it's a 5-minute interaction at best. They don't really know you. They no shame to them. They're doing a
Of
great job. They
course.
work there, all that stuff. But
Right.
it's not the
Yeah.
same.
No, it's
They're
not the same.
salespeople.
Right.
Yeah. They're salespeople.
Right. Right. Yeah. We're complex beings,
Yes.
right?
No one at Sephora has ever asked me what my sleep looks like.
Right.
Oh
Just
yeah.
gonna just gonna throw that one out there.
Yeah. And
And no shame to Sephora. I love it. I shop there
yeah.
all the time.
Right.
But I will go there for makeup. Like, I'm like, if I'm
Right.
looking like, I'll give them a really specific question and they'll be, oh, yes, we have that like mechanical eyeliner in that color. Great. Like, that's what I'm here for. And I have a memory of going into Sephora like years ago and being like, oh, my skin, my sleep is off. So, like, my skin is bad. Like, what do I need? And I walked out with like $200 worth of stuff. And I did it. I used it. And, I was, it didn't sit on the shelf, but I didn't see an improvement in my skin because it hadn't done the work of everything else, and it was probably like a product mismatch for like
Right.
what I needed
Yeah.
truly. Yeah.
And that's another thing too. Some people will say, "We absolutely don't need a 10-step routine." Oh, correct. You don't. However, there's some people like myself, I really like a really long routine, right? So some people you can use that to your advantage, but
Yep.
it's not, and that's why it's hard to say this is absolutely not true. This is
Mhm.
it just depends,
No.
Yeah.
you know?
Nuance.
Nuance.
It's like a theme everywhere that
I
we're
know.
seeing.
I'm hoping that our 3 professions are safe from AI because of this.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure people are plugging in their questions into AI like, oh, I'm getting breakouts or my skin is dry.
Yes.
And where we live right now, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. But I think over the weekend, it's cold again. And that affects, for me, my skin when it's cold,
Yep.
it's like crusty dry.
Yep.
That's such glamorous.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. Now the world knows that.
So
But
sexy.
but I know that about myself. So I have a winter moisturizer and a summer
Yes.
moisturizer because from years of having dry skin, that's what we have to do. It took me years to get here and lots of expensive receipts from Sephora, but that's okay. So yeah, we covered a lot of ground. Dana, I know you have
Okay.
more questions and I'm going to be quiet so that you can ask.
No, I feel like I need to put my red light mask on my nightstand. Just kidding. It lives there and I don't use it. Ah, shame.
Mhm.
But
Well,
it's so bright on my eyes. And so I have to close my eyes and then I forget to use it.
you have to close your eyes. You have light eyes,
Yeah.
right?
I have very light sensitive
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm one of
that's
those
I
people.
get that, because I multitask with mine on.
I would love to.
It's yeah. Isn't that funny though? It's hard for us to stay with our eyes closed for 10 minutes, but it
Yeah,
is.
I know. I'm like, I set myself up. I'm like, listen to your audiobook. This would be 10 minutes that you don't do anything, that you could just sit and relax,
we can't do that.
meditate, whatever.
Weird, I know.
And I'm like chomping at the bit.
I
Like,
know.
oh, I need to get up. And then I just want to open my
Yeah.
eyes a little and then it hurts them. But I need
Yeah.
to do it.
I get that. It is for sensitive eyes, it's a little harder. It is.
But I bought the machine.
Yeah.
I should
Gotta
probably,
you gotta use it. You gotta figure it out.
I'll use it. I'll use it. That's what I love about having all these experts on here this year. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I've been weightlifting now.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to use my red light mask,
Yeah.
buy these whatever exome. Just kidding. I'm going
Yeah.
to drive to Connecticut. That's
Yeah.
what I'm going to
Yes,
do.
you're going to get a
I'm
in-depth
going to
individualized consult.
AI does not touch your skin,
No.
ladies.
Yeah.
Everyone listening, friends, AI is not touching your skin.
They
So
have
you should go to an esthetician and know what you should be. And I did years ago, not even that long ago, but and I go to someone for facials and such, and I buy products that are good because you want someone who puts their hands on your skin
Yeah,
and knows what it feels like and asks you those questions about what your routine is. And no, again, not going to sell you something if you're not going to use it.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And I was gonna say about AI, they have these like I don't know if it's an app or whatever, but you could take a picture of your face and they'll give you like this is the kind of makeup you should use and this is the kind of
No.
products you should. But to your point, they're not touching your skin. They don't know anything about your life, what you're allergic to. That's the other thing. You could buy an expensive product but be allergic to the fragrance and then,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. In line with products, something I wanted to ask because I have darker skin and I hear two sides of the argument. People with, I think it's like Fitzpatrick 4, because technically I'm a 4, and we'll talk about what we could put a little blurb about what Fitzpatrick is. It's like kind of how we grade or scale
Measure.
skin types
Yeah.
based on how quickly you work with sun. I tan very easily.
Not
Surprise.
me. What am
Yeah.
I?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're a 1.
am I a
Yeah.
zero?
Or 0.
0 to 1.
Yeah.
I gotta be a one? Yay!
Yeah.
I'm a one in every color of makeup. So why not
Yeah,
this?
it stands. Like the use of laser or, radio
Mm.
frequency is becoming more, I don't know, commonplace or people are talking about it. How much does your skin color, your skin tone, how much melanin you have also, cross over into your skincare?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Doesn't cross over into your skincare, like with your
Okay.
products, so much, unless you are struggling with hypopigment, right?
Mhm.
Where you have lighter patches on the face rather than darker, or pigmentation from scarring. That's where I would watch. But as a general rule, no, I'd say there's no red flags of you definitely should not be using this, right?
Got
It
it.
kind of depends on, again, those nuances, if there's something specific we're treating with darker skin. As far as lasers, just maybe your audience knows this, right? But the Fitzpatrick scale, right, helps us determine how quickly you tan versus burn. And when you're working with lasers, especially laser hair removal, the laser's attracted to pigment. So if you're telling us you're a 3, but you're really a 4, right, we have to adjust those so that we don't burn you, essentially,
Mhm.
right? So you have to be careful. And there are certain peels, like the VI peel is a
Mhm.
medium depth peel that is safe for all Fitzpatrick scales, right? So there are things to know like that's a perfectly safe option that goes deeper, and will be more effective than sometimes even more superficial acid that might not be the best for darker skin, right? So it's just kind of understanding the nuances,
Yeah.
truly. But there is no hard, absolutely not for Fitzpatrick
Got it.
4.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
There,
Go
there
get
we go. I got
la-
some information.
Yeah.
I'm like afraid of a laser on my face for some reason, but I don't know. I think in time.
And if I always word of mouth is great. Like find a place that people have been going to and book a really thorough consult and let them know what your concerns are before you even
Yeah.
do anything else.
That's great advice for everyone, like,
Yes.
listening. Like, before you do something to your face, especially
Yeah.
procedural,
Yeah.
yeah, do some
Yeah.
All of it.
diligence, do some,
Yeah.
So a couple more questions. And this is listeners, we're sorry. This one's just for us. We hope you've enjoyed it. Dermaplaning.
Mm,
Dermaplaning and dermaplaning and Botox. I mean, those are my last two questions. So what is your take on using them? And I've heard dermaplaning is really good for, you're buying these expensive products for
like
your skin
absorption.
to absorb. Yeah, exactly. But
So
I'd rather hear from you than, what my girlfriend, no offense to my girlfriends. I love you guys, but text messages and such, rather hear from the expert.
this is just my personal opinion. Dermaplaning is great if you can't stand your peach fuzz. You will get smoother texture and you'll get a little bit better absorption. But I think the way to approach if your peach fuzz bothers you, dermaplane. If you're looking to dermaplane simply for better absorption, let's skip.
Skip it.
Mm.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. When you dermaplane, is it making peach fuzz grow back thicker?
No,
That's the question that a
no,
lot of people ask.
not at all. And to be perfectly honest, I myself get confused on the why behind that. What I've learned is that it has a lot to do with our DNA. and that it's just that, like, we're just not going to reduce facial hair like that. We're just not designed to, so we won't. Because what you will notice if you're not used to have dermaplane or shaved your face, once it starts coming back in, just that initial feeling of it will be different for you, but you get used to that quickly, and it's a very short phase. But it doesn't come back darker or anything like that.
Mhm.
And Botox, to each their own. I commend women who are choosing to never go down that road and just go about things gracefully. I think that's fabulous. I'm not one of them. I use my gua sha and I get Botox. I like to approach both. So if I will say there are some theories about starting Botox in your early 20s is preventative.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how I feel about that. No problem. If you want to, go for it, but I wouldn't use that as the reason. But Botox has been around a long time, and if it's working for you, I say have at it. My personal
Right.
approach is I don't want to be frozen. I would prefer to just soften
Right.
things as I go, right?
And that's why your social media accounts are fabulous because you do talk about all of this
Yeah.
and you do, show your experience with it. So
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you for answering all of our
Yeah,
questions for
of course.
us.
It's been fun.
And I will say us because they were for us.
Mhm.
No, but it's been so good to have you on here.
Thank you.
Um, the last question we have for you, which we've been asking everybody, and you also have 2 children at home. So how do you handle your no sick days?
That one took a while to figure out.
Yeah.
I think for me, having it and having ADHD too, no matter what, creating some sort of structure for myself, even if that structure is structuring time for the walk in the woods, right? To
Mm,
know that I have those certain touch points that are built in to my day, um, is just so that's how I manage. Does that make sense?
Nice. Yeah, you
yeah.
built in little moments of me time, little glimmer moments or
Yes.
little
They're good little
sparkle
moments.
moments, whatever you wanna call. Yeah.
And as long as I have them, like, once I mentally check those off, I'm like, "Okay," and that's
Yeah.
because without them, I really pay for it, and
Mm,
I'd never realized how much until I made it more of a priority. It's weird how that happens as we mature.
yeah. But that's wisdom, right? That's the wisdom that
Yeah.
we gain from going through something hard or difficult or uncomfortable or whatever.
Yep. Mhm.
It's so nice of you to share that reality because so many of us try to, and our listeners included, just like push through and struggle through. But like, no,
Yeah.
we need those moments. We
Those
need a little
moments.
bit of give back.
Yeah, I know.
And just because we can hold it all and we are holding it all doesn't mean that we shouldn't make those times for self-care and
Yeah.
Right.
taking that time out for ourselves. Like you said, we pay for it when we don't.
Yeah, we do. We do. Yeah.
So thank you so
Thank
much for
Yes.
you.
joining
Thank you. Thank you.
me,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
sharing it all with us. I know we all have to now get back to reality and
Reality.
life and the things because when you're doing it all and you're holding it all together,
There are no sick
Nope.
days.
no sick days. Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone. Thanks for
Thank
you.
you.
listening.
Enjoy your day.
No sick days is for information and education only. It is not medical or mental health treatment. Listening to this podcast does not create a medical or therapeutic relationship. Please talk to a qualified professional for care that is right for you.